I wasn't thinking anything about racing. I was just thinking about, all right, this is like one of my last few football games. I got one more left. I got a bowl game, which we went on to beat Missouri. And after that, I'm going to become a naval officer. I had no clue that I'd be
We are
racing.
live, man. Good to see everybody, and welcome to the world who's tuning in. This is an event, the first public event of 2022 for Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. You see, I'm joined by Jesse Iwuji, our pilot, who's going to be brave enough to go 200 bumper to bumper here in a few weeks to tackle Daytona. So I'm fired up. We've got the man, the king, who loves empowering people, giving back. He's been doing this for a long time and making home ownership dreams come true, and he's helping our dreams come true. Mr. Eddie Perez is joining as well to
Thank you.
talk about our plans today to empower people more. And this doesn't happen without our great partners. And of course, you guys know Jesse. He has never raced full time. This is the first year you're going to see our star on track. And Mr. Emmitt Smith, a legend in the Dallas community and around the world, found out that this kid from Dallas had a dream to go after something that had never been done before. You know, coming from a different country and not growing up as a race car driver, not coming from a family with a lot of money and not knowing anybody in the industry, but having the grind that got him into the Naval Academy, the grind that helped him figure out his way in the NASCAR. And I mean, he's going to surprise a lot of people, but he's not going to surprise Emmitt Smith, because Emmitt knows about the work ethic it takes to become the greatest of all time. And he's going to pour into Jesse. And here you now see we have a platform where we're going to be able to race full time. So listen, today, guys, it is about our mission off the track that we want to visit with you about. I know people are itching like, what is your number? Did you get the 22? And we're not going to tell you that today. All right. But it is huge when we make this announcement. You're going to love it. I know people are going, who's your manufacturer? And man, listen, we're going to have a special opportunity for our manufacturer to share with you guys. So we're not going to let that out of the bag today. People are wondering who's your crew chief and who's going to be putting your car on the track. We're going to give them some love and make a special event for them. Today, again, it's all about our plans to use our platform to give back, create opportunity generating systems, and empower people more, to be an example of, look, you can take the training wheels off the bike and you could ride too. We don't know if you want to be a race car driver or a football player or a CEO, but we do know you want to be great at whatever it is that's important to you. So we've got some good friends today. We want to build a community. We're calling it the Iwuji Nation. Emmitt was so kind. He said, Jesse, this is about you. I mean, everybody thinks it should be my name, but it's your name. I mean, I'm already good. I already have a legend and a legacy. My job's about empowering the next generation. And Emmitt's seen what's going on in the world, and he's going to give some opening comments here in a minute. But the big star of the show, listen, is the guy we all believe in. So I want to turn out opening remarks to the legend in the making, Mr. Jesse Iwuji. Then we'll go to Mr. Emmitt Smith, and then we'll go to Eddie, and then we're going to take some questions from the fans. And last thing I'll tell you is, not today, but merch. Everyone's asking, where's the hats? Where's the shirts? Where's the stuff to show we want to support as well? I know all of you out there love what Jesse stands for, and we're not going to change. People say, what's your plans? We're going to do more of what you've seen this young man do. He's an officer and a gentleman. So, Jesse, it's an honor to be with you, sir. I stand on the shoulder of a giant. Out to you.
I'm just a normal person just trying to do cool things, but I definitely want to thank everyone who's jumped on today on this notable live platform to be part of this press conference. We're not going to keep everyone here forever, but we just want to, discuss kind of what we got going on this year and talk about why we're doing what we're doing, right? I mean, we could go into all the little bits and pieces about this and that, about on-track stuff, this and that. You're going to see that all year long. We got a long, long season to see racing. But right now we want to talk about really why we're doing what we're doing and why this group came together. We have a group here, Emmitt, Eddie, Matt, Mike, everybody who's part of this whole thing. I mean, there's a lot more than that. It's not just our small group. We have a lot of folks who are really putting time and effort to make this happen. And, our entire goal is to really empower people more. And we couldn't do it without the group sitting right here who were putting this thing on. We got a lot of great folks who have been working just, minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, week after week to get this going. And we want to create a platform. We are creating a platform so that we can inspire people to be all that they were meant to be. There's a lot of people out there in this world who do not go after their goals, do not go after their dreams, because they can't even see anyone out there in their field, in their industry, doing what they want to do. And all of a sudden, that representation isn't there. And when it's not there, they don't believe they can do it. But by us creating this platform, coming together and showing people what's possible, me being a naval officer, a former college football player, still serving in the Navy, and then also, racing in NASCAR and owning multiple businesses and doing all that stuff, just showing people that it's possible to be all that you were meant to be. And I truly, truly believe that life rewards those who stay strong enough, long enough. So by us coming together with all of our powerful stories, Emmitt, from where he came from and what he had to do to get to his top of his game in the National Football League, for Eddie, for everything he did. His parents came over here with absolutely nothing, and for him to grow from that and all of a sudden elevate his life to where he's at now with EPM, it's absolutely incredible. So many incredible stories around here coming together so that we can showcase to people what's possible and help, once again, empower people more. So I'm so happy to be part of this group and this press conference. And I know we're going to have a lot more information to give out to people as time goes on throughout this year. But a lot of great things in the making. I'm looking forward to how this will all go, and it's just going to be super exciting. And it's a blessing and an honor to be in front of all of you and have this group together. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating.
Like Jesse said, and I couldn't have said it any better. I'm just honored to be a part of this group right here. We're truly building the team led by Jesse. And for me, as Matt mentioned earlier, now this is not about Emmitt Smith. This is about Emmitt Smith supporting someone like Jesse and empowering him to continue on and chase goals. But this is also about us reaching the community. And the way we do that is through various programs that Jesse and the team will be creating. Go out and to expose NASCAR to people that we encounter. So trying to empower them to their level of greatness. One of those things one of the ways we could do that is exposure and bringing things to communities that otherwise would not for these things to the community. So we've been very transparent, very transformative, and with people like Eddie and Matt, and the team that surround Jesse right now. Obviously, the race will happen. All those things will take care of itself. But our job is to be good stewards of what we have and to inspire others to their level of greatness. And one way we can do that is by just exposing others to not only NASCAR, but to Jesse and the plans and the programs that we will be developing now to younger people, younger generations, so they can be exposed to the things that we're doing right now. There's plenty of technology, so you're going to have a chance to see us do a lot of great things and reach out to a lot of different people and just having various types of conversations. Now, when you start talking about empowering people, no one does that better than Eddie and his team. Whether it's first-time home ownership and all those kind of things. So we talk about sports, we talk about NASCAR, but this word empowerment goes not only through sports, but it also goes to individuals, and then it goes to corporations, and then it goes to your community. So empowering people is a vast word, but how tactical you get is up to people like Eddie, Jesse, myself, and Matt and our team. But it's also up to you. Whenever you hear an opportunity that Jesse may be in your town, or we might be in your town collectively doing some type of event, we're inviting you to come out so you can understand what it takes, what we're doing, how we're succeeding, where we're falling short at, and what we need to screw up. We're not ashamed, because you know what? Failure makes us stronger. And we're okay with that. We're okay with not being successful all the time. No one is successful all the time. Oftentimes, you don't even get the chance to see our shortcomings. But when we do, we own them, we pick ourselves up, we get back on the track, and we go at it again until we get across that finish line. And you know what? Winning is not just reserved for us. It's there, but you got to go get it. We're going to create the opportunities, but you got to meet us where we are. So I'm looking forward to it. Jesse, good luck this season. And Matt, thank you. And Eddie, you're the man.
I don't know about that. That's definitely very kind and humbling to hear from somebody like yourself, especially like I had said earlier, how we and that's a little, when you talk about empowerment, it always is about from the first moment you even meet somebody. And not to go through the whole story, but even the first time I met you when I was a 17-year-old kid at that gas station right before you were about to have, I mean, you had already won a Super Bowl, but this was the one in my hometown that you won your MVP. So, I mean, just the dreams that you have as a child. and how kind you were. I think a lot of people don't realize that, because that's really what empowerment is. Yes, there's going to be moments where some people and the static goes and all that, but it's really about who you bring to the table. And you actually said it best. You got to go out and take it. That's one thing, God rest my father's soul, he instilled in me at a very, very young age, was like, look, you got to go out and take what's rightfully yours. Nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to hand it to you. But guess what? He said this, and it was very true. Nothing that was ever given to you did you ever appreciate. And it's in that struggle, and it's in that opportunity to have that struggle where your real growth and real who you become, not what, but who, that is so important. And that's what empowerment does. It just lifts people up from the bottom up. That's what a lot of people, I think, at times misunderstand. And you're starting to see that change, not only in sports, but in business, where it's not a top down, it's really a bottom up. It's really, and no pun intended when I say it, it's like the foundation of a house, and why real estate is so crucial in this country, because it represents $6 to $7 trillion of the economy. You got to build that foundation strong. And from there, you can sustain anything. I'm not going to say it sometimes won't be fun. I mean, nobody wants to sustain certain storms, but it's in that struggle, and it's not that you need to be worried about it. And it's really about go out and take it. And then, I mean, just look at the story of Jesse and what he's done, first generation in this country from Nigerian parents, even what he's done in the Naval Academy. And once again, always to you and every veteran out there, for those that are still alive and those that have passed, and for those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, thank you, Jesse. We don't know you, but we owe you, is the philosophy that I heard from somebody, and it's true, is we owe all you guys, because at the end of the day, it's that freedom through empowerment that even makes this conversation even possible. Without that, it could be like still Cuba, like where my family and everybody came from, that it's still unfortunately very repressed, and people don't get the opportunity to have these moments to even live through, because that's not a struggle. That's just oppression.
Yeah.
Big difference. So, thank you. It's so humbling to be here, especially since Jesse and I connected when I did the 22 and 22 challenge with push-ups to raise awareness for veterans that unfortunately 22 were dying by suicide each day.
Yeah.
And we built this relationship even before all this, and just an interaction on social. It just goes to show you, what is completely possible out there. And as you said, Emmett, as everybody said, and Matt has said it, the ground's here, and it's all about how you lift it up and you go out. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to put in the long days. But only put it in. This is one thing I always tell people: find your passion. It doesn't matter what your passion is, especially today with the internet. If you have a passion, you can turn it into whatever you want. You really can. It's no longer, oh my God, I'm a school teacher, I can only be a school teacher. I know people that are school teachers and now teaching globally and making 3-4 times the income. And it's not about the money. It's about the opportunity that now they have 8 billion people or 7.6 billion people that they can now have an opportunity to get to know. So, and that's what empowerment is. It's just that freedom to go out and do what you feel is in your best interest and the best interest of everybody around you.
Yep. Eddie, that was perfect. I mean, right. I mean, when I say capture the opportunity, if opportunity comes knocking at your door, don't just let it knock. Open the door and let it in, or go and walk with it. I mean, that's truly it. I mean, you cannot sit on the sideline and watch opportunities pass you, or sit in the house and expect opportunities to come knocking at your door. You got to get out and meet it. And if Jesse and our team is putting something out in the marketplace where we're going to be at, an opportunity to introduce you to something that you might not have had the experience to be introduced before, meet us. Meet us where we are, because we're trying to meet you where you are. But we won't know where you are until you meet with us, too. So it's a perfect handshake there, and I'm excited about everything. So,
gentlemen, thank you for the opening remarks. And I know we have some folks itching to get in and ask a question. And I'll tell you what's different about how we do things is, again, it's about creating opportunity systems. What's cool is we invited some kids in today, right? A lot of times kids are trying to figure out how to be whatever when they grow up and never get opportunities because they don't have experience. So we've got a few kids sprinkled in to ask questions. Kids, our door, we're doing this for I mean, part of the reason is to inspire you. So if a kid is watching this, if you're a parent and you have kids, I mean, let Jesse pour into it. We're going to be putting systems and things in place to connect virtually, but we got some kid reporters today. We've got some big time reporters. I think I saw somebody from Fox that we let in, and there's a few big time reporters. And then we've got some fans that we let in. So guys, In the Room is on Notable Live. This is where all kinds of cool things are going to be happening this year. Again, we'll be announcing more partners, but today it's all about EPM and our plans to empower people more. So Alan and the team, can you queue up our first user?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you're all like growing up. Every single time I see you, you're like older.
It happens.
It
They
happens, I
grow up
guess.
fast. I mean, they grow up fast. They really do.
It's
Yeah.
just natural, I guess.
So, Jesse, if I told you in 2009 when you walked off the field at the Army-Navy game that today you would be driving for Emmitt Smith full time, what would you think?
I wouldn't have believed you because even at that time, I owned a V6 Chrysler 300, I believe. I had been on a drag strip once or twice in my life. I wasn't thinking anything about racing. I was just thinking about, all right, this is like one of my last few football games. I got one more left. I got a bowl game, which we went on to beat Missouri. And after that, I'm going to become a naval officer. I had no clue that I'd be racing or doing anything. You know, at that time, a lot of people racing right now in the Cup Series, Xfinity Series. A lot of them in 2009 were racing late models and NASCAR K&N Series and all that stuff. So at that time, I had no clue. I would have never believed. I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, why? Who? Like racing? Why would I be racing for Emmitt? Emmitt's a football player. Like he literally, he Hall of Fame. I mean, how am I going to be racing for him? He's not in NASCAR, So it just, I would have never believed it. Never believed it. Not even one chance."
Good. And now for Emmitt. So, a similar question is, in 2004, when you walked off the gridiron for the last time, if I told you this year that you would be running your own NASCAR team with an African-American driver, what would you think?
I wouldn't have believed it. At that time, I don't even think that there were truly African-American drivers at that time in 2004. I mean, Bubba Wallace just hit the scene about a couple of years ago. But I do remember back in 93, I believe it was, forget the gentleman's name who did the Indy race. I do remember that day actually happening. But this is something that you rarely saw in 2004. You didn't really see African Americans really on the track. Now, there were some African Americans that probably went out and watched a few races. My father actually went down to Daytona, see more races at Daytona than I have. So I wouldn't have believed that I would have been in a position to even think about owning a NASCAR team. I knew Detroit had one back in the day, back in late 99, something like that. But I never really thought about having an opportunity to actually venture into this space. But as the Lord would have it, opportunities come. And when they come and they knock at your door, you have to be prepared to go ahead and figure out a way to step into the moment and not be afraid of the moment. I mean, oftentimes people, they shy back from moments of uncertainty. But over the last, and I also believe that you got to be prepared for the moment. I mean, in life, we have different types of things that happen to us throughout the course of life. And at that time in 2004, I might not have even been prepared to be in the position to do what we're trying to do right now. So time has a lot to do with it as well. But you absolutely got to do your part and go through the process and learn as much as you can. Because when it comes down to doing business, one of the things that's pretty fundamental in business is investment in and investment out. So, but I'm thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey, Dustin. All right, cool. I think you were chopping up just a little bit, but I think it's better now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Cool.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Pretty
Good.
We're well.
How's it going?
Good. So I got a couple questions for you, Jesse. Obviously this was announced with, on NBC Sports. I think it was the Michigan race in August. Since then to now, 5 months, how has your life kind of changed?
On the NASCAR national level, there's just a lot of other different things that are happening, a lot more to think about. There's a lot more financial stuff involved because it's expensive. To race at this level, second highest level of NASCAR, is not cheap. So just figuring out all the different details, putting all the different partners together. It's been absolutely amazing to have, Eddie and his folks at Equity Prime Mortgage jump on board as one of our sponsors for this year. We have some other ones who have jumped on board that we'll be announcing soon. There's just a lot of great folks who have jumped on, who believe in this, who want to be part of it, who want to see this journey go as far as it can go, supporting me, Emmett, the rest of the folks on board with us. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yes, my life has changed a lot. I've had to refocus a lot of different things. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a few businesses. I have a trucking company. I'm in esports. We have E-Racing Association. I put on drag racing events. I'm in real estate investing. I do all that stuff. But
Legal
this is also
events, legal.
Yes, legal drag racing events at tracks.
Great catch, Emmett. Yeah, man, let's make sure it's not, Fast and Furious.
No, not street racing, not drag racing at the track. But it's there's so much going on, and now this is the next thing that I'm putting on our plate. We're all putting on our plate, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of effort. But at the end of the day, I'm the one. All of us. We told God, like, hey, we're hungry. So we put everything on our plate. So we can't ever complain that our plate's too full because we're the ones who said we were hungry.
and for you, Emma, like how much input do you plan on having in this team on like a regular basis, or do you let other people kind of do that?
Well, I have, I really want to take Jesse's lead. And as a former athlete who's been in the world of sports and entertainment for a long time, I want to hear the thoughts of others before I actually interject, because oftentimes when you think you know enough or know too much, you speak out of turn and may not know much about the industry and stuff. I don't really know a whole lot about NASCAR outside of cars and driving fast and so forth. But when it comes down to certain business aspects of what we're looking at, I am keenly aware and keenly involved in some of the decisions that are taking place. And at the end of the day, Jesse is the expert in this space. The team that we put together to put the cars together and the tools that we're going to use, that's one level. That's something that I really have no earthly idea about. I would be completely stupid to think that I know fixing cars. I don't. But my job is here to support him, try to help him navigate through this maze and craziness of everybody coming at him in various different ways, to challenge some of the thoughts that we have in terms of how we want to educate the community, how we want to empower the community, things that we want to do on the track as well as off the track. Now, as I learn about what's happening on the track, then I might have a little different perspective on things. But this is a complete team effort. I wasn't the quarterback. I wasn't the wide receiver. I wasn't the offensive line, but I was the running back. And I knew what my job was, and I did it to the best of my ability. In this case, I know what my role is, and this is about Jesse and his dream and his vision. And I don't have no problems taking the back seat.
You had a few receptions, and you could block pretty good too. I wouldn't say you weren't a receiver and a blocker.
I had to diversify myself in a way to where I had to perform on a consistent basis for everybody, including Troy Aikman, and protect him. And so at the end of the day, I know how to protect, I know how to run, I know how to catch, I know how to block, do all those things. But right here, it's not about me. It's about the team that we actually have to making everything become better for everybody. So,
and one quick follow-up for Emmett. How many races, or do you even know how many races you think you'll be at this year?
I got a big schedule, but I'm definitely gonna be at Daytona. We're plotting out every race that I'm gonna probably be at. I really can't give you the complete answer, but I definitely will be at Daytona. I'll probably end up out here in Vegas, probably end up in somewhere in California. I'll probably end up in Dansville. Wherever Jesse goes and my line up with it, I'm gonna probably be there.
Cool. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dustin, and have a good one. We'll see you around the track a few times this year, Justin.
Yeah, I'll make sure to see you at Daytona.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sure. Hey, what's up, Toby? I've never gotten to see you like in person, Toby. Like, it's like a first time seeing you. I just see your name all over the place. Before we even get going, good job on like growing your brand, growing a website, all the information you put out. Always, not going out there and just putting out craziness. You put out facts. You put out good information. You're not stirring up controversy. You're out there putting out good stuff. So thank you for everything you do. I just wanted to say that.
It's so much. First question I've got, Emmett. So for you, is it kind of does it make you feel good going into something like this, seeing Michael Jordan and the success that 23XI has had in their first year, and maybe that kind of correlates that maybe success can be made pretty quickly in this sport for somebody of your nature?
Well, you know what? I think it's people like Jordan, people like Jesse, people like Bubba, and others that come before us that are paving the way, which creates opportunities for others to come in and do the same thing. Now, we're hoping that we can have similar success, if not greater success, is really the biggest thing. But that relies that depends on Jesse and his driving skill and our team put together to make sure that we have the fastest car on the track. But we are inspired by what they have done and the success that they've had. We are definitely motivated to go out and compete and try to win as much as they are. So I'm excited for the opportunity, but the rubber actually have to meet the road, and Jesse has to do what he needs to do behind the wheel of that car. And our expectations is not to win every race, but to finish every race. As long as we're finishing, that is successful from our standards. Now, obviously, we want to get the checkered flag and win that, but that time will come. I mean, every race there's an opportunity, and if we are in every race, we have an opportunity to be successful. And that's and I want to see Jesse just finish. If he finished, he's healthy, the car is in good shape, and we did what we needed to do. If we win, that's icing on the cake for us.
And Jesse, Emmett kind of said you're the expert when it comes to the racing side of things here. So going forward, he's mentioned building the team, putting together race cars. Do you guys have your own race cars you are assembling, or are you going to be kind of farming race cars out in year one from another team? I know you're not making a whole lot of announcements today, but just kind of trying to get facts here.
No, we do have our own race cars, yes. That whole thing has been a process to get them because, we made this announcement in August, which somewhat gave us some time to get some stuff together, but didn't really give us a lot of time. Honestly, now looking back on it, anybody who's starting a team, if you want to start a team, make the announcement in January and look to start it the next year. Give yourself a lot more room. I mean, the funny thing is you can make it happen at any point. There's teams who, just 5-6 weeks before a season, all of a sudden decide, we're going to start a team. And they make it happen. And it's not easy at all. It's very stressful. We've been dealing with a lot. I mean, we've been working every hour of the day, all night, every day, like just getting everything together. So yes, we do have our own team. Cars, all that stuff. Yes, we are working with different folks, different teams to get a lot of stuff together because at the end of the day, it takes a village to raise a child, and our child is a team. So we need help. We cannot do this alone at all. But we got a lot of great support from a lot of great people in the industry who have been helping. It's been awesome to see the support from different teams, lending a hand as far as knowledge, information, people, just helping us, so that we don't fall into any pitfalls. Because people want to see this team succeed. We want to come into this sport. We're not coming in to cause any issues. We're not coming in to be controversial. We're not coming in to do any of that. We're just coming in to utilize this platform to inspire people, help people. We've got a lot of great partners on board. Once again, Eddie and his team have been absolutely amazing to help us get this thing going. Looking forward to just showcasing what they have going on at Equity Prime Mortgage, throughout, the year. And, all the other partners who are jumping on board too, just everything we got going on. It's truly a blessing to just see this come to fruition, because this was a thought like a year or two ago. And now it's actually, going from being a dream to reality.
Hey, this is all the good stuff that's still coming, man. Hey, we want you dialed into our channels, man. Come back each day. We're going to be telling you all the good news, man. We're going to be telling you all the good news.
That was a good move, though. That was a nice little, let's see if I can get a
Toby saw a little crack in that offensive line. Dude, he was trying to hit it, Anyway.
Toby's awesome. Toby's awesome. I love him.
In the room.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Toby, thank you again for being a fan and a friend, helping us get the word out as we've been chugging along for the last few years. And good to see you. Jesse got to see you in person for the first time. How cool. Eddie Perez and Jesse met virtually in a pandemic, right? And this world was connected through social. One other interesting thing about virtual to reality is y'all know Jesse learned how to operate a warship at the Naval Academy virtually. Guess how Jesse learned how to drive a race car? virtually, right? When you hear about how we're using the virtual world and our STEM initiatives and how we help kids see science, technology, engineering, and math, that's what's happening in these race games. Eddie got in with us sponsoring our video tournaments, playing race games, connecting people in a pandemic, and he started seeing the communities we built, how we empowered people, the love, how we gave ordinary people a chance to be like a pro, how we got engineers and mechanics playing these video games, and a car sets up in the real life just like it. So anyway, it's super cool, Jesse and Eddie and Emmett, to see that we've improved. You can have a sponsorship that starts virtually, and all of a sudden, Eddie, now we're coming into the reality, right? You're on video game cars. Now you're coming to real cars. Jesse's friends fly fighter pilots to protect our country. They learn virtually. So technology and simulation is at an all-time high, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we're doing there again. So who's our next guest? I don't want to slow anything down, man. I want to try to get as many people in as we can. Who's next?
All right. Well, I guess I want to start off by asking, I've talked to EJ, obviously your son Emmett, and Jesse, of course, a few times. And it's evident that there's a lot of support of young people and of family culture. So how do you take that into consideration into your race team, partnership, relationships, and the team that you're building, the culture that you're building? This goes for all of you.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So, yeah, as far as like kids and stuff and inspiring them. So, I've always been a firm believer that, our future, our world revolves around kids, right? We got to inspire them at early ages, and it doesn't take a lot. That's the thing. It doesn't take dripping on kids like every single day for it to get all of a sudden to inspire them to potentially reach their goals, reach their dreams. It doesn't take that. Sometimes it just takes one experience. For me, football, like I didn't come out of the womb all of a sudden thinking I'm going to be a football player and playing college football and all that stuff. All it took was one experience. It was 30 seconds of my life, which made me all of a sudden believe that, you know what, I need to go this football route and become, a high school football player and then eventually a college football player. And I was going to my dad's work. He was working at Greenville or something, not Green Hill High School is like a private school. He was doing media stuff with them. And he took me into work one day just to show me the school. And as we were walking in, I saw a bunch of people on the field playing football. Like they had pads on, they were practicing. And for some reason, that one instant, it was only for a few seconds, I saw them out there. And in my mind, that moment, it clicked. I want to play football. And from then on, all of a sudden, I made it my goal to go make that happen. But it took that one experience. So with our team and our platform that we're building, all it's going to take is sometimes that one instance of some kid seeing what we're doing, seeing themselves in us, doing what we're doing, all the different places we're going to be by going into the different inner city communities with the gaming trailer that we're going to build and bring out to different communities so that we can show people the esports side of things and hopefully help them transition from esports to motorsports. All these different things that we're going to do, it's going to inspire people. And it's going to take that one instance that could turn a kid's life around. That's why we're super big on inspiring the youth because they are the future of this country. If we don't start there, we'll never get to where we really want to be.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, first of all, that's a very inquisitive and great question. So however you've gotten to that sort of knowledge at your age already, keep going. That's what I'd tell you, because that's very see, I always tell people when you hold on real quick. So Charlie, good Lord, I'm sorry about my dog. I can't even believe that. So embarrassing. But
good.
I think the way you ask that question is something that's really putting you at an emotional intelligence advantage already, because you asked a question to ask people how are they interested, not interesting. And I think that's what it really is you've got to build a culture that is inclusive, that you bring people from all ways. But more importantly, when I talk about diversity and inclusion, I always talk about diversity and inclusion of thought. You got to bring people that have different wiring, different compositions, and different dynamics of their strengths, because that's the best way when you bring them to the table that you can get the most out of situations and really not stifle innovation. And the only way not to stifle innovation amongst humans is to allow candor to prosper, not where it's held against you. Because I think a lot of times people ask questions to respond instead of just a genuine intrigue to learn. I mean, your question embodied that completely to the T. So when you talk about the youth, as I can say in our organization, just even from a cultural standpoint, we've built an environment where somebody's got to bring their child, especially during COVID, and we have computers set up completely so to let them do that. We've sponsored esports. That's how I met Jesse. Was through first of all, I met him through social, through something else, but then even the esports things. We sponsored an esports team that recently won a championship, and really getting that environment because real estate and what we do, it's really about people understanding the wealth and, more importantly, the empowerment that it brings, because you bring somewhere where somebody can build a home and you can build really a dynamic and a structure of how your family's built. And it doesn't matter how your family's built today, but more importantly, a safe zone that can't really exist if you're not having candor. And that doesn't matter in any sort of environment that you're in. It's okay to tell people how you feel. It's okay to understand certain aspects of yourself. But like I say, I commend you on that question because it was very
Awesome.
Keep doing what you're doing. You are definitely well ahead when it comes to emotional intelligence and really being intriguing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My answer would be on our culture and family, so forth. My family gets a chance to see me operate at a level that they didn't really get a chance to see me operate when I was playing football. I'm operating 22 because I'm in the business world. Seeing me play football, they got a chance to see my talent. Now they get my intellect. And that's an important thing to have. I mean, oftentimes young people are geared towards the shiny object. The shiny object can be sports and entertainment and anything else. Everybody that's on social media, a lot of people on social media are trying to get likes and doing things on social media to attract people. Well, social media is creating that environment for people to build their self-esteem up through the eyes and lens of others, instead of them, the ones and the ones who believe in themselves, the ones that share their lives with others, are influencing people to do things totally different, and they're showing ways that it can be done. And so, for us as a team, in order to build that culture, diversity of thought is one thing, and belief in each other is another thing. I think belief is something huge. So my kids have to believe that I have their best interests at heart. Kids that we reach out to have to believe that Jesse and this team have best interests at heart in terms of opening and exposing them to things that they might not otherwise see. And so for me, that diversity of thought and that belief and that trust that Eddie talked about and that we're talking about, that's something that we take personally, because that's all we have is our name, and that's all we have is our integrity, and how we impact people and how we make people feel throughout the process of impacting them is everlasting and forever, ever changing. And so we're at the position right now to where inclusion, equity, and diversity, they all have to collide at the same time. And so diversity of thought, diversity of race, diversity of religion, and so forth. But most importantly, the best interests of other people. I think if our senators and Congress people can learn that, stay out of the power zone, which a lot of people are in the power zone, and think about truly what America really stands for, I think the decisions that they're making would be a lot better and a lot more inclusive than they are making them right now.
All right, how you guys doing? Good to see you again, Jesse.
How's it going, Josh?
Good, man. Emmitt Smith, great to meet you. Jesse, I mean, I've been seeing what you've been doing for years now. So proud of everything you accomplished. Sorry I jumped on a little late. I was having issues getting this thing to function, but I finally got it. So I'll be brief. Hopefully I'm not asking something that wasn't asked already, but just from my perspective, from someone in the media now working with Fox NASCAR, how can we as media members kind of empower new drivers, new race teams to give, like it's been the conversation, more inclusivity to the sport and bring in new faces, new ideas? Like, what would you like to see from the media in terms of promoting the drivers, the owners, the teams to help grow the sport?
Yeah, I'll jump in first. I think from the media, I think you do a great job of this, is telling the stories, right? Every team has different stories going on that team, whether it's from the driver's perspective, team owners, pit crew. back office, whatever it is. There's different stories that are occurring on each team. So I think from the media, there's a lot of different media sources who just strictly focus on, hey, I'm going to focus on just on track stuff. Like, this is what happened on track. This person finished first, second, third. This person had an issue on blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's like the normal stuff. We can all see that. We clearly see that on TV, right? But when the media starts shying away from that and then focus on, okay, what interesting stories can I find on this team? Like, what is going on this week? What's being affected? Who's new coming in? What are they doing to do this and affect change? Whatever it is, finding those stories, and I think telling those stories in a powerful way, that's huge. People like that stuff. People like seeing it because we're always going to see the general stuff that media likes to put out, which is basically on track stuff. We all see that. We all know that's happening. Yes, there was a race. Yes, someone won the race. Someone finished dead last. Someone finished 15th. We all know that. But telling those stories,
Somebody crashed.
Someone crashed. Yep. All that stuff. I think telling those stories, that's huge. And Josh, I know you've done different interviews with me, and you've done a really great job of telling that story. People reach out to me all the time saying, hey, how'd you get into NASCAR? A lot of times I'll send them, different interview clips that we've done together and be like, look, watch this. This is my story. So telling those in a powerful way, I think that's how the media can really do that and help the whole inclusiveness.
Hey, Josh, coming from the world of the NFL, no one has done it better than NFL Films.
Yep.
And when you think about the games you're going to watch this weekend, look at the backstories behind some of these things. I heard someone talking about Aaron Rodgers, how he grew up 20 miles north of San Fran, and how he wanted to play for the 49ers. And they drafted him. And he almost tried to come back this offseason. And I heard one of the announcers on ESPN talking about this is meaningful to Aaron Rodgers as it is for the San Francisco 49ers. So the reality of the fact is, it is those backstories that captures and captivates the minds of youth. And it's the backstory that endear this story to that actual driver in that community that you're serving. So instead of the basic, yes, the track, that's who cares about the track? I want to know about the driver. I want to know what inspired that person to get to this level. How is that going to help impact my life? How is that going to inspire me to do something great? Because if I know him or her, that's where the connection actually happens. That story says, I'm not that different than you because I am normal and average just like you are, but I had to work hard to get there. This did not happen overnight. So I think by doing those type of stories, which are real stories, talking about real people, be successful at what they're doing. That is impactful.
Yeah, and if I could add one thing, because they nailed it with stories. And I think what they're really summing it up, Josh, is the human element. When people start realizing that we are 98% the same, we're not aliens, that that the 2% is different. But I mean, we're here for Jesse. Think about that. He's into real estate. Think about it if that was just humanized. Then all of a sudden someone's like, especially in today's environment with the internet, how it made the world metaphorically, not theoretically, flat, where there's barometer entries. I can do a side hustle, do this. Things like that, I think will then make people curious, almost like, and I don't mean it in this way because we know there's theatrics to this, but almost like a real life reality. I don't want to say show, but the reality or the truth or the facts that you want to talk about, I think will make people very, like we say, interested. Yeah. Not interesting. And that's what I think would go, that human element. Hey, like Jesse said, in 2009, I'd never raced a car, so I wouldn't believe this is possible. Just think about that. That was only 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's not that long ago.
Right.
I think that ingredient, it's kind of like salt on top of the eggs that just make it very powerful.
And one other thing I would add is, media today is busy trying to get the story out there versus getting it right.
Yes.
I think if they take time to, instead of trying to just push something out there or narrative that they want, and I see that happening quite a bit, trying to spin something to an angle that they want to portray it as. And a lot of press right now to me is a lot of spin. And with a little bit of facts sprinkled in here and there, but a lot of BS. And people in the viewership or the people who are reading it or the people who are watching it, they don't get the chance to see the whole thing. They only see cuts and snips, this and that. And that's based off of the production or the producer who's trying to produce the show to say, but I want to know. So I'm just a pawn in someone else's story.
Right.
Giving quotes here and there.
Right.
Because you already got in your mind what you want to write.
Right. You're steering it a certain way already. And it's just like, no, like listen.
They could put that on his head. And start to show the in the human aspect of who the person is. I think that's a little bit different.
Awesome. Guys,
Josh Sims, thank you for chiming in, man.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you
Josh.
in
Thank you, Josh.
Daytona. We'll see you in Daytona, man. Thank you.
will.
And congrats on your keys to the kingdom for Fox running NASCAR. All right, man. We'll see you out there. Congrats.